It is April 7th, 2021. This is Atlanta United FC Weekly, a Home Before Dark podcast.
Oh, I had a good one tonight. Oh,
Yeah.
Dan's spilling.
That was a very good cork pop. Do you remember your first cork pop, Kevin?
When I was 12.
Whoa.
Just kidding. No,
he's not. Thank you guys for tuning in on this lovely Wednesday evening. I am Tim Herb, as always. I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts, Mr. Kevin Bradley and Mr. Dan James.
Hello.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
What are you guys sipping on tonight?
I have a Old Elk single barrel.
Nice. Sipping on the old Casamigos.
What is that? Oh, yeah. You told me about getting into that. Yeah.
Loving it.
Tequilas?
Loving life. Loving tequila.
Yeah. I've got myself a fine English breakfast tea.
Oh,
That's right.
Tim.
Yeah, going white, and I did a little creamer in there because why not? And then I got my trusty Kroger Mandarin Orange spicy water.
What kind of creamer did you go with? Like hazelnut or some pumpkin spice? Is it really?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me all right? I think Brian was saying I'm kind of quiet. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
It's a little quiet. It's better now.
Kevin's extraordinarily loud.
I've heard that my entire life.
It's just hopefully that's better. I don't know. I put away my Focusrite the other day, and I don't know if I messed around with the settings or not. Is that better?
Yeah, and Dan's muted because he's working with the new sound dampening equipment he has installed at his house. For those watching, Dan is recording live from his laundry room, which is really, really unique.
This is how I dry all my clothes.
Huh. I don't know why. Now I'm gonna.
Am I muted?
I'm gonna fixate, guys.
Oh, Tinker and Tim. There we go.
Tinker and Tim. That's better? That's got to be better. It looks better on the audio readings. I hate not doing this in person with the actual mixer.
Yeah, no kidding.
Sounds good.
Anyway,
so I think we can start off with what's everyone's mind is what Pokemon have you been catching today?
Is what?
What Pokemon we've caught today? I actually haven't booted up Pokemon Go today. It was raid day. Yeah.
Wow. So you rage quit? That's what the kids say, right? They rage quit.
No.
Yeah, that's true.
No Machop last night. No Machop last night.
No Machop. Guys, we can't just dive into the game. I got to introduce and thank everybody for joining and do all that jazz. We're not a podcast without the people, right?
Well,
am I wrong?
We didn't dive into anything. You know we got to spend. Well, yeah, that's because Dan doesn't get it. He's got to come with notes and a lecture prepared. He doesn't get the vibe. You got to give him a break, man.
Yeah. He doesn't realize it's a mood or it's a vibe, as the kids say these days.
Exactly.
Anyway, we got the regulars, Brian, Elliot, Beaven, Richard, Gordon, Kevin, Escobar. We got Dirty Bird Person. Haven't seen him in there for forever. Alex Passine. I don't even know if I'm saying your name right, Alex. I apologize. Bill Holcomb, the innovator of the Bell Holcomb icon. And then Brittany S. We got and Giletto. Anyway. Bill says, wait, I thought this podcast died. What the hell is this? No, you just haven't tuned in a few weeks.
We never die. We just keep coming back.
Yeah.
Keep coming back.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving.
I'm not fucking leaving. That's what we should have towards the whole thread about us being dead. We should have responded with that gif as the
always. But forever Kane gifts for referencing Guzan, though.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's pretty great. The fact that guy's a mayor of a town now is insane to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Anyway. All right, Dan, do your thing. I got to go.
All right, well, I got my Pikachu and involved him into a Bulbasaur. And then Bulbasaur obviously evolved into Charizard. And then we went on some raids together. And I got a yellow Pokeball. And then started playing Digimon.
What, you got a Game Shark or something, Dan? What are you doing over there? You're gonna corrupt that save file.
They didn't get a full release in the UK.
Oh, good grief! Yeah, I can imagine.
That was tough. He got Pokemon Green. That was the one.
I don't understand.
He got the one.
Every time I go through the video game aisle, there's like 4 new versions of Pokemon. I don't understand it at all.
They're all amazing.
Yeah, they're all amazing. As is Gabriel Heinze.
Yep. Cool.
Right.
So,
ready to anoint him? Ready to anoint him?
No, he still hasn't won an MLS game. Heinze out.
Yeah. You want to crown his ass?
Heinze out.
No. It was.
He's still untested. Hasn't even won a real game yet.
So, I think
are you talking about Heinze, or are you talking about Rios Novo?
Heinze.
Okay. Yeah. Kevin and I were talking last night about how it was the first time in a while we had legitimately been a little nervous, a little giddy, amped up for one of these games. It felt like last season it kind of just fell flat, whether that was the team, the pandemic, whatever. Dan, were you feeling the same way going into last night? Did you get the jitters?
I didn't get I got the jitters after Guzan got sent off. But I didn't. I was just excited. I was just ready to get back into watching Atlanta United games. And I was just hopeful of what was going to happen. You know, we've had this whole atmosphere of optimism that's been going around this team through preseason games. And I'm like, what happens if this all just goes to shit? But I feel like last night proved that there's a lot of reason for that optimism. So I was very excited.
Cautiously optimistic, I'll say.
Yeah.
I'm cautiously optimistic as far as the way this season may play out. I am very excited about it. And I think that this team has the potential to score a lot of goals, but as somebody's already mentioned in the chat, I think it was Brian, this team has the potential to give up a lot of goals too. So, and we'll get into that obviously with specifics from last night's game. But going into the match, I think I was more excited going into that match than I probably was any match last year, honestly. Like, aside from the season opener last year, there was just, and like Tim said, I don't know if it was the pandemic or the results or the turmoil or not going to games or what it was last year, but it just seems like last year was just a blip and a blur and almost didn't even exist. So it was like last night was the first Atlanta United game that felt like an Atlanta United game leading up to kickoff in almost 2 years, honestly.
I'm throwing that caution to the wind. No cautious optimism here, just optimism. After watching last night, I don't think any team could go toe-to-toe with us in MLS. We got this. We got at least the East wrapped up. Like, all the other teams can go home. Philly's without Brennan Aronson now. Yeah, I mean, Toronto's a shell of themselves. Yeah, we're going to win the East.
Great. We probably should do season predictions this episode now that we're getting, because next weekend will be the start of the regular season. So I'll Dan, go ahead and finish your point. I'm going to get index cards. We'll do that later on in the show, but I'll have them ready.
Okay. No, I thought that I was thinking about last year and how I felt going into Motagua, and I remember, I mean, I was fine going into Motagua. We weren't that sure what was going to happen, but we were coming off the MLS Cup win, and I was just really, Motagua was before Herediano, but anyway, so I remember the Motagua game, and I was like, oh, this could be pretty good. You know, we're attacking, we're doing some interesting stuff, but then of course the rest of the year followed on, and it was just awful. So I guess but because of all that bad stuff, I was just so much more excited to see what Heinze has been working on behind all these closed doors.
Yeah, it was good to see a glimpse of the tactics outside of like a bad camera angle during a scrimmage, during like a practice match behind closed doors type of thing. Because I mean, it was great watching the guys get back to it, playing against obviously Birmingham was a true friendly, right? Or well, in some ways, it was still modified, right, in terms of the periods that they played and that sort of thing. But the Charleston Battery game didn't really give me much to go off of. But then watching last night, I mean, we're playing 4 at the back technically, but it seemed like for a lot of it, we were playing a very attacking 3 in the back with wing backs in Bello and Brooks Lennon. And I don't know. I got excited again. I was always a big fan of the 3 in the back, even if you come out looking like you're going to play 4 in the back. I was always a fan of 3 in the back with Tata. Like, I felt like it gave us, even though his hand was kind of forced into that situation a lot of times and he didn't want to play it, it ended up, benefiting us and we end up playing a very attractive and very aggressive style. And I think it played into our hands last night because I don't know that Alajuelense, is that right?
Yeah.
I don't
Apparently
think
you can just call them Alajuela.
Alajuela. Okay.
Alajuela.
I don't think that they were probably expecting us to come as aggressive as we did, especially 10 or going down a man too.
Yeah. Well, they certainly came out really aggressive. Alajuelense came out pressing really early on. And
they had a close shot.
Oh, yeah. They definitely dominated possession that first 5 or 10 minutes, and then things started to taper off as Atlanta started to maintain possession. And I think at the point of the red card, Atlanta had something like 68% of possession at that point in time in the game. But, yeah, they definitely came in with some swagger, Alajuelense did, expecting to win, and immediately backed off. And I definitely don't think they saw the aggression coming out of the 10-man front that they did going into the second half at all.
Yeah, I thought that they would actually come out a lot more aggressive than they did. I was kind of surprised that they would allow us a little bit of time in the center of the park, which was surprising when you look at all the heat maps showing that they just kind of much stayed in that center of the park, but then we still were able to get guys moving through there. I think if I was a Alajuelense fan, I'd be furious because I think they gave us far too much respect in the first half. I thought they were going to come out a lot more strongly. Like we've seen, I don't remember if you ever saw that game against Elfsborg. It was like a preseason game. There was like a few highlights, but I remember watching that game and it was a preseason game, but the Swedish team were like just flying into guys and we were having to do an awful lot of effort just to pass out of the press. And I didn't see that coming from Alajuelense, which was kind of strange. So it's kind of like they gave up on they kind of did like 90% of their core value, which was not enough. And we were able to soak up that pressure. And this is all happening before the red card. And then there was a lot of times where they were just relying on hoofing balls up front and looking for a guy to run behind the defense, which they did, with some moderate success, but they didn't actually get an end product due to Guzan flirting with red cards on a few occasions before actually fighting one.
It also didn't help that every time that they attempted to do something like that, they were consistently getting called offside. So I think that props to a back line that seems to be, Bello, I'll call out as probably the weakest link last night, defensively speaking, and consistently was getting exposed, even though he was trying to track his man on that left side. I feel like he was certainly the weakest on that back line, but again, kudos to the back line for holding rather than giving in to that rushing forward from Alajuelense trying to crash the back line. I think the biggest thing, to your point, Dan, about the defense's ability to contain and maintain possession to play out of the back, I think that'll be the biggest difference in absence now that FDB is gone. And I think that was one of the – if there was a a major benefit to his tutelage was that I felt like the back line and the possession under the defensive side of the ball seemed much more consistent and calm, and you could kind of depend on that stability on the back line. Last night, especially, it just seemed so rattled. Several of the back passes, the one from Barco, I won't necessarily put on the defense, which led to the Guzan red card. But even prior to that, the drop pass and the player that slips in behind that forces Guzan to come out of the box the first time, and make a one-on-one challenge that he narrowly pokes away. So I think the defensive side of the possession is going to be really interesting to watch this season in particular.
Mm-hmm. I think it was a tale of two halves, Kevin, with the defense. I agree with you. I think Bello just had those few moments where he would miss his man and they were able to get in behind him. But in the second half, it's almost like because we had the red card and we were up a goal, we were able to relax a lot more, and it kind of played into our hands where we were able to really coalesce into a good defensive unit.
Well, you had to. I mean, not you didn't have to, but I think that the reason why is because your tactic changed and the back line wasn't getting exposed as much because you weren't having to rely on Sosa dropping back to cover because he was inherently back there because it was a more compressed backfield anyway, because you were a man down and you were up a goal at that point. So I think that may be partly responsible for that consistency in the back line in the second half. Was just there were more men back there to begin with. The two breakaways that we had in the second half, there was nobody past midfield. It ends up being Barco and Joseph from midfield line all the way up to the 6-yard box, basically, because there's no other midfielders there. So I think that probably helped a little bit with that defensive structure in the second half too.
Tim,
I was just letting you guys go for it. I was just letting you guys. Oh, I can. I can come in now.
Oh, shut up!
I can join.
I'm sipping tea.
Yeah, Santiago Sosa. That's it. That's it. No, but for real, like I know it's early. We're coming into this. And there are going to be kinks to work out. George Bello, again, Brian, as Brian said, we're probably going to give up a lot of goals. And it has to do with the fact that we shift into a back three and let our wing backs kind of fly up. Santiago Sosa is kind of that perfect guy that we've been missing, I feel like, for the past few years. I think he has a 10 years younger Carlos Carmona who's already more skilled than Carlos Carmona was. I think that he is... to me, he's the linchpin, and it's hard to say this so early on, but I feel like he might be one of the more important players, if not the most important player that we have outside of Joseph Martinez, as far as like a metronome for our season or like a barometer for our season. I don't know if I'm using that term correctly, but I think as he goes, we'll go, and same with Joseph, obviously, but I know it's hard to not overreact, and I don't know if this is an overreaction, but, and I think Elliot Beaven brought it up. He said, beating a team that was on a winning streak, can't believe it. I think it's a couple things like bigger than that too. I'm about to see a team that's on top of their league, a team that hadn't lost since November?
25 games.
It was some insane streak. And take away that, right? Because that happens, like somebody has to break a team's win streak. That happens all the time. We did it to Monterey a couple of years ago. We just did it to them. But also, we're coming into this with like a 5-week preseason in conditioning.
No.
And we're meeting a team who's flying high in the middle of their season at full fitness in their stadium. Granted, it's without fans. Right? I don't think there were fans last night. It's always hard for me to tell.
They just had the crowd noise, yeah.
Yeah, it was like the crowd doesn't the crowd, they never pan to the crowd anymore, so it's hard to tell. I mean, some places do have, obviously we're going to have fans in the stadium, but I don't think you can really overstate how impressive that was, for especially to go down a man in enemy territory and playing against a team that was really really at their highest point. It'll be interesting to see how they come out against us. To Dan's point, I mean, I feel like they probably should have run us a little more ragged, but it seemed like it seemed like we were up to the task, which is great this early on. I think it bodes well going into the beginning of the season down in Orlando, especially having a season opener probably in really muggy, humid, hot Orlando to start the season. I think we're up to the task. And yeah, I mean, that's my main takeaway is I think Santiago Sosa is our signing of the season. I know we had a lot of moves and it's really, really early on, but just how quickly he came in and was able to shift and play multiple roles. I mean, when he got upfield, he looked dangerous. The diagonal ball that he played over to, I think it was Brooks Lennon, was reminiscent of an LGP.
And he had a few
diagonal.
of those. He had another one that went over to Barco that Barco ends up dropping off to Mulroney, I think, for one of those crosses that he put in. I think your sentiments about the defense may rise and fall with Sosa's season is probably a correct one, because what we were missing under Frank de Boer was somebody defensively that would take the ball up past the back line. Like, yeah, we could possess it on our 18, but nobody was really moving it from our 18 to midfield. And that's what Sosa really seemed to bring out last night, was a lot of that movement from the 18-yard box up through that midfield line to distribute up vertically. So
do you guys care if I get into some of the reactions, some of the like one tweet reactions that we got on Twitter? I can get into it later.
No, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just all take a minute to enjoy the fact that this is what this lineup looks like without pitting Martinez. This is what.
Oh, that's weird. Ronald Pena just joined the stream. I don't know if I should let him in or not. I don't know if he should. So Richard Gordon, he's saying, for what it's worth, I feel better about this CCL match under Heinze than I did after the first one under FDB. I think that's fair.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because we won.
Yeah. Annabelle saying we're winning the World Cup. I think that's correct. Keith Filer had a couple notes. He said Rios Novo was man of the match. We haven't even really talked about him yet. Sosa would have been it if not for the 18-year-old emergency goalie. Said, love the attacking up the middle. Excited they kept their plan of attack even after the red card. I think, Dan, what do you say about that, right? Because a team we could have easily just tucked our tail and kind of parked the bus, as it were, for the rest of the game and kind of hoped for a draw and not to give up a handful of goals.
So I love the fact that we didn't park the bus, like you're saying. I thought I kind of looked into like some 10-man tactics, or like what you do when you get sent, like a guy sent off. And like the usual players, like you take off a striker, you become that more defensive turtle unit, and you just you try and weather the storm. But the thing is, then you get pinned back by the opposing fullbacks, and it's really difficult for you to break out on any sort of counterattack. But what Heinze did is he took off Mulroney and then still had a back four and played the defensive line still pretty tight. So it ended up being a back five. And then he played the two holding midfielders. And then he had Barco and Joseph. So it was almost like a 5-3-1-1 or either a 4-3-1-1. So we still had some attacking threat there. But the thing is, Alajuelense just played into our hands. So we had an immense display from Sosa, Robinson, and Walks. They were just...
Oh, my God, that slide.
Impregnable.
The Robinson slide to save the game, basically, with a man on goal inside the 6 was probably the defensive play of the match. I mean, give all credit to Rocco. He had a great night, but defensive players, that slide from Miles Robinson inside the 6 was hands down the best defensive play of the night.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, they all stood on their heads. It was really, really incredible. But the thing is, Alajuelense would send in crosses. They had 31. We had 31 clearances, and they had 17 shots. So like 7 on goal, 7 on off target, and then they had 3 block shots. And it was just they would just cram guys into the middle. And when you've got people as physical as Walks now and Robinson and Sosa, is like you just made it a lot more easy for us. So we would just jump right in the center, jam these guys together, and there was no other opposing player to like pick up loose balls that pop out or anything like that. And it was easy for Lennon and Bello to just clear those up. So it was I don't understand why they did that. If they just have had another guy, it was like they gave us too much respect. What you're going to do, but I thought it was a really good substitution from Heinze. Very pleased to see that. It was great stuff, but I was just glad we still had an attacking threat, because even Barco, I mean, he was running like a man possessed. I mean, he really didn't have the best game, but the amount of effort that you put in was fantastic to see.
So
and
Kevin,
sorry, Kevin.
No, you just keep going. We'll wait.
Too bad. All right, so Emerson Hyman got the captain's armband in the second half. Can you believe it? And if you look at I was around about the 70th minute, he was fighting down in the trenches as well. He actually, he either got fouled or fell over in an area and was still trying to head the ball away right around the feet of the attacking players. It was a heroic display from Emerson Hyman in that particular regard. He kind of flies under the radar. I know a lot of the fan base don't like him, but I'm really interested to see what he brings for the rest of the season, especially if he's going to be in some sort of leadership role. Now you can go.
Is he finished or is he done, Dan?
Home before Dan. Kevin Escobar has a point. You guys also have to give it to a bit of luck. They whiffed on some goals. Robinson saved our ass. Rocco had 2 where he cleared it, and we were lucky it went straight to Robinson. You know, Rocco also had a couple that he just did not get his hands on for whatever reason and popped out. And that kind of brings up the next point, which Tim, you mentioned Rocco coming in last night after the Guzan ejection. What were some of your thoughts on his performance last night and prospect of him, especially going into leg 2 against Alajuelense?
So he's 19, right? Or is he 18?
He's 18.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But he's got a mustache like a 36-year-old man.
Yeah. Ibarra's the 19-year-old. Unflappable, I think is the word that I would use for his performance last night. It was a very mature performance of an 18-year-old to come in under duress in an away situation against caveat all the things I said about Alajuelense, and the how the cards were kind of stacked against him, and he was cool as a cucumber last night. Like, he came in, saved shots. A lot of them came straight to him. To your point, Kevin, he deflected a couple that he probably should have been able to handle a little better, but he also caught 1 or 2 that it felt like, I've seen Brad Guzan whiff on. So yeah. I mean, all credit to the kid. I thought it was a professional performance, and I think that he really stood out last night. And I think that it was really accentuated by the circumstance that he was brought in under.
Yeah. So what do you think about this coming game in leg 2 when he's going to have to start as keeper, and knowing the challenges that the defense faced in the first leg and some of the shortcomings out of some of the players? What do you expect to see differently, if anything, going into this second leg to try to cover him a little bit more and give him a little bit more confidence on that back line and safety from that defensive line?
I thought he grew in confidence as the game wore on. Like, the more saves that he was able to make, I feel like his stature raised. And like Tim was saying, he's got such a mature mind about him. Like, he got a yellow card for time wasting because he knows what he's doing. He knew exactly where his posts were. He could tell where his goal was, and would easily had the confidence that if there's a ball going out, he's not like panicking and trying to jump on the ball and accidentally give away a corner. I thought he had a ton of confidence. I think because Guzan is gonna be Guzan will play against Orlando, I guess, but
but he'll be out for the second leg because of the red.
I mean. So it's got to be Rocco in net because of Camp coming off surgery, and I think Lundgaard got injured. So I think he's got to sign another 4-day emergency contract.
And I think Atlanta has to sign somebody to an emergency contract as well as a result of that, right? Because of the other two injuries we have. Exactly. Unless we're going to put Joseph in goal.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. Well, you can put Machop Joel in there.
That's a good point.
He's pretty rangy.
Yeah, big dude.
I think in terms of just kind of protecting him a little more, I think we've got a formula with Sosa dropping in the back between Robinson and Walks. Maybe you keep those three together so they've got that continuous chemistry going on. Other than that, I don't see really there's much else that Heinze is really going to do to protect him. He's going to want to just go and get guys up there.
Do you think there's any potential? I mean, don't get me wrong. I thought that Mulroney, though I was hesitant out of all of the positions in that starting lineup, seeing him over on that right side, I was like, I don't know how this is going to work out. And then I was proven wrong in his ability to get the ball, pull it back to his left, and whip it a couple of really great crosses in. But knowing that Bello was sort of the weaker end of that back line, do either of you see a potential that Mulroney maybe not switches with Bello, but maybe comes back to shore up that defensive line, knowing that you have Rocco back there who isn't your starting keeper, and make a different substitution in the midfield for Mulroney over on that right side?
Are you talking about to happen in the next game, or?
Yeah. Or do you think the lineup stays the exact same going into leg 2?
It could say. I was really surprised to see Mulroney in over Dom. I was really impressed with Mulroney's performance. I think he had the most. He had like 12 dribbles, and it was like 80% success rate on those dribbles, which is more than the rest of the team. And he was able to whip in across too. I was really, but I did kind of think, well, who are you going to take off when Guzan go? And I agreed with the Mulroney sub.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I guess you keep, unless he's just looking for rotation. I just don't understand why Dam didn't start. So maybe he's just wants to keep his wingers at some sort of freshness before the weekend. I feel like he could start Dam or could start Mulroney. I don't know if there's any sort of formula that we've really seen that you would either choose one over the other as a decision that's obvious.
Yeah. What do you think, Tim? Any lineup changes? I mean, do you think Joseph starts in leg 2?
Yeah, I do. I think another week of a week of time and fitness and all that under his belt. I think you probably see him. I didn't think Lopez he didn't look bad last night.
Not at all.
I thought some of his hold up play, some of his turns, that sort of thing. And he, got on the end of that pass from, I think it was from Barco, or it might've been from Bello, and barely misconnected on it. And I think I would like to see Jurgen Damm in for Jake Mulroney. I too was surprised with Mulroney last night, but at the same time, I would not be surprised to see Jurgen Damm in there. I think especially if we're going to try and score more goals, and be more aggressive, especially, having a full squad, obviously not being a man down. And I would look to see those two changes happen. I think you see Jurgen Damm come in for Mulroney, and I think maybe Joseph coming in for Lopez.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I agree. I think Damm should come in. Again, I'm really nervous about this back line right now and what potentially happens going forward. And I think that, especially playing the same opponent again, I think that Alajuelense will come in prepared to really attack that left back position. And I think that because that was a weakness in leg 1, I fully expect them to remedy that in leg 2. And if anything, I think that could be a weak spot and a potential to shore up with some substitutions or some changes in the lineup accordingly. So,
yeah. So Brian Daniels brings up a point asking if you guys think that Walks was too timid last night?
No.
No.
He got not especially when he got that yellow card.
Yeah.
I thought he was a beast. I
Yeah,
thought he was very physical. He was going up for all the headers. And he was going guys. He was bodying guys around. I didn't think he was timid at all.
I didn't either.
And that's something I'm missing, Brian.
Yeah. Let me see. There was one other.
Oh, hold on, Tim. I think he's saying. Oh, never mind. I thought he was saying Walker's keeper, but never mind. He's not saying that at all. Sorry, Brian Daniels.
Trying to find Coach Steve's comment about last night. He said, here it is. He said, I felt like we looked like a obviously talking about Pep Guardiola inspired team last night. If we lost the ball, there was a 3-second urgency to get it back, and offensive movement possession was beautiful. That was one thing that I saw last night. We were digging out balls like I didn't see us do at all last year. Like guys were really like getting in front of their opposite, like just really fighting for balls.
Yeah.
I felt like a lot more last night than the entirety of last season.
Yeah. I totally agree, Tim. Cause also, I mean, again, Robertson and Sosa, they were doing a lot of bodying guys off the ball, just shielding the ball, and Ibarra too. So I hadn't seen a lot of that last season either. There was just so much more fight in this team than we've seen in the past.
And I think that's how you get back some of that exciting soccer that people have been missing, right? Like you have players that look like they're actually making challenges and making plays on balls to try to not only maintain possession, but to actually drive down to the other end and score. You know, it's not just maintaining the possession to maintain for the sake of maintaining possession, right? Like it's with some sort of intent and purpose in the buildup of play. So,
yeah. Want to go through a couple more of these reactions that we got on Twitter. Marshall Voigt saying it's probably safe to assume that Gabby's go-to training session includes the first team playing multiple men down against the reserves. Okay. That would be interesting. I don't know if that's a regular thing. A name that I have not seen in a really long time, and he changes account names. I don't know if he keeps getting banned.
Oh, you talking about LaFleur? Our boy LaFleur? I know who you're talking about.
LaFleur said, hey, Tim and Kevin, I say small goals first, get past the second round CCL, and then clinch an Open Cup spot. Brian Olivas saying build a Rocco statue. All right. Pfizer boy aka Mike German saying my main takeaway is that Hyndman is gonna get the blame for every errant pass Ibarra makes because they look the same from far away. That was one comment Angie said last night. She's like, with this camera angle, I don't know who's who anymore. Like I can't tell who's who. Yeah. Giletto, Joey saying Rios Novo is the greatest goalkeeper ever. Has never given up a goal for a first team. All right. Rocco Rios Novo Stan account. Who is this? BC Bryson saying Rocco Rios Novo is the second coming of Lev Yashin. That's a reference that goes, I Googled it. Old Russian keeper, Soviet keeper. Keaton Thomas. I liked how he moved up the field a lot more while in possession rather than keeping the ball the entire time and passing it back and forth and not making a lot of forward progression. We have players. I want to get back to this. We have players who can get up the field and create chances. Let them do it. And then the last one from Julian saying playing dangerously from the first minute. But I like
Julian Gressel?
Yeah,
Julian
exactly.
Gressel?
Yep. I would much rather watch games where both teams score loads than a signature DeBoer 1-0 victory. Should be exciting and give me multiple heart attacks this season.
Wait, I thought we had a 1-0 victory. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Did we not watch the same game?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. So Keaton Thomas's, which you guys were kind of touching on, he's essentially saying we now don't have pointless possession anymore. We're back to having a mindset that we have a goal to accomplish while we're passing and we're pushing up the field. We're creating chances. We're trying to get in with runs. What?
Oh no, I'm in the timeout corner. Yeah, I'm in the timeout corner. Apparently, I've been told. I don't know. Talk to Chiefs coach Steve.
But yeah, it does feel good. I mean, I don't know. I think there's something to be said about dominating a game through possession, even though you're winning. Even if you do win a boring 1-0 victory with no, a la Spain, the Tika Taka 2000, whatever the stretch was that they went through, and through whatever it was, 2008 to 2016, where they sometimes pass themselves out of games. But I'm not really seeing that. I don't expect that at all this season. Do you, Kevin?
No, I don't. No.
Dan, any more thoughts, Dan? On
the man that's never at a loss for words when recording, all of a sudden.
So what were you talking about? I was looking at
all of a sudden. He's too busy over there doing sign language to everybody else in his house. Like, are you being held hostage? Do you need help? Are you okay? Are you trying to tell us something?
As long as they feed me tequila, I'm fine being held hostage. So what was your question, Tim?
Oh, of course. He's not even paying attention right now. He only listens to himself, Tim. He's only listening to himself.
Should we expect last night's performance to be kind of indicative of how we move forward, where there's not really possession for possession's sake anymore, but there's a lot of possession with kind of the drive to move forward?
God, I hope so. It's coming out. We're down a man right before halftime, and then we come out second half and we run at them harder than we did the first half right off the bat. I loved it. I want that ferocity. I want West to go and punch him in the mouth first thing, regardless of who we're playing. I feel like, here's a hot take for you. I feel like this is the season where we finally beat the Red Bulls in a regular season game.
I don't know about all that. We'll see, I guess. We'll see.
Dan, say Meat Mountain if you're being held against your will.
Sometimes I say Meat Mountain a whole bunch. Pimento cheese.
Something about pimento cheese. What did he say? Dan said pimento cheese is simple to strike team. One of my first memories of Dan was whenever he said that he doesn't like Hershey's chocolate because it tastes like cheddar cheese to him.
Tastes like cheese, yeah.
Now, every time I eat a Hershey's like milk chocolate, all I can be like, this tastes like cheese.
Because it tastes like cheese.
You've completely ruined it. You've completely ruined Hershey's chocolate.
It's a very British sentiment. That was one of the first conversations I had whenever I was in England. The guy was like, "You're either a Galaxy guy or you're what's the other one? It's Galaxy or Cadbury." Yeah. And Galaxy is just Dove, but we add preservatives. We have to add preservatives to our chocolate, whereas you guys don't over in the UK, right? And it adds a weird taste to it. So
also American chocolate has a much more sugar in it, and British chocolate has more fat in it, and fat is better than sugar. True,
checks out.
It
absolutely checks out.
Hershey's tastes like cheese. Wake up, sheeple.
What about symphony bars? Are you a fan of symphony bars with the toffee in them?
So I like those because after you eat them, you can still taste them for 6 hours because the toffee's in your teeth. Yeah, it's really good. You just get that little hint of toffee throughout the day. It's great.
Yeah. So what do you guys do? Michelle's saying American chocolate is gross and she's a Cadbury's. Are you a Galaxy guy or a Cadbury's guy, Dan?
Cadbury's guy, man. So Cadbury's is made in Bourneville, it still is, which is like 2 minutes from where I grew up.
I'm a Milka guy.
Cadbury's man.
I'm a Milka man.
That's Milka Magnesia guy right here. I'm getting old. It's good for you.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you do for American? What are you doing for chocolate in America, Dan? Do you just not eat chocolate here?
My kids get so much candy. I just eat a little bit of that. This time of year, mini eggs are out. So I like mini eggs or the Cadbury's caramel eggs. I'm a caramel man rather than a cream egg man.
You talk about mini eggs. So robin eggs, yes, absolutely, especially with it being Easter time. That and the trolley sour, the trolley sour gummy bunnies. I've just eaten my weight in that over the past couple of days. So that brings me to my next point, which is we just had Easter Sunday this past week. So we do it every holiday. Favorite Easter candy, go.
Oh, Reese's Bunnies. Or eggs, sorry. In the bunnies, yeah. They have the big
those giant
too,
ones.
Yes.
Yeah. Stacy got me one. I'm waiting for that thing. I'm just waiting for one bad day to have an excuse to come home and tear through that thing.
Actually, I might take that back. I might say crunch eggs, the mini crunch eggs.
Dude, Starburst. Bill Holcomb coming with the jelly beans, the variety of jelly beans these days, the Starburst jelly beans. Oh my God. So good. So good.
Yeah, that's great. But it's the Cadbury's caramel eggs for me.
I can't do a whole one of those. I feel nauseous eating a whole Cadbury caramel egg.
No, you got to do it like a Mountain Dew commercial. You break the top and then you pour it, try and do the caramel pour.
No.
I use it as a substitute for soft-boiled eggs and ramen, and just.
The key thing for those caramel eggs.
I actually eat it like a hard-boiled egg. Like I peel the chocolate off of it just to get to the caramel on the inside. Get like a little egg holder and just. dip my toast in the caramel. All right. What's everybody?
Back on track.
Okay. Whoever says Peeps is a terrible human being. Why that is a candy that anyone would buy or eat is beyond me. They're just packing peanuts.
I disagree.
Packing peanuts.
I disagree. I think Peeps are a fantastic treat, especially the chocolate-covered Peeps.
Okay. Now, chocolate-covered Peeps I can maybe get behind.
Can we all just disavow the hollow chocolate bunny, though?
Oh, yeah. That's awful. That's such a waste. Okay. Such a waste.
So the weird thing about America and Easter is in the UK, everybody gets a hollow chocolate egg, and they're everywhere. Every brand has their own chocolate hollow eggs, and they're like, they're as big as your hand, and they're not over here. It's so weird. And then the chocolate egg has whatever candy. So let's say it was a milk dud Easter egg, so you'd have a big fat hollow chocolate milk dud egg with milk duds inside it.
Peeps cinnamon flavor? What are you, just eating big red marshmallows? That sounds disgusting, dude. That's so gross. That's so gross.
The only thing Peeps are good for is putting it in the microwave and watching them expand.
Oh, is that what they do?
It's like microwaving soap.
No. What?
Wait,
microwaving soap?
Soap will expand in the microwave.
So will metal forks, I've heard.
Yes.
For those of you that haven't tried it, you should definitely they just get bigger.
Oh. Okay.
Awesome. Well, we definitely got fortunate with the penalty because it came off the guy's face rather than his arm, but that's okay.
So I don't know. The frame skips. The ball is in one place as it's going towards him, and then the next frame it's over here. So I don't know. I can't say for certain it hit his face or not.
I mean, I thought it hit his face, but it doesn't matter. I'm happy with the penalty.
It was hard. It was hard for me to tell. They only showed the replay a couple times, and it was very granular footage. Somebody did bring up the point that his arm doesn't move at all, as if it was getting hit by that cross, which would indicate that it did hit him in the face. I saw him it was just so funny to me because I thought that it was a handball, and I'm sitting there watching him just rub his face and just really playing into it. But I don't know. Maybe he did get hit in the face.
You know what would solve this problem? VAR.
Yeah.
Would it though?
I don't know why. Why don't they have it again? What was the reason?
Because if the TV if FS1 and 2-NA didn't have the angles to show it properly, then would VAR have would the referees have the angles to show it to even see it properly?
I don't know. I feel like It's also weird that the frame rate on the cameras that they were using, like the ball jogs for 3 feet from one frame to the next frame. Like they're using studio cameras from 1998 or something like that. And
so, Tim, I think part of the VAR reason is because there's a lot of infrastructure that goes in for, all the other camera angles and things. And I guess not all stadiums are able to afford that. So I don't think
so it's not even soccer specific is what you're telling me? That's not even a soccer specific stadium.
I mean, it all comes down to money eventually, right? I mean, I guess, MLS wants parity with teams. So CONCACAF wants parity in terms of facilities. But it's just because the less economically successful countries, I guess.
Did you just have to feed your Tamagotchi? What was that?
That's my insulin pump.
Oh, got it. Nailed it. Keep that thing fed.
It's my Tamagotchi.
Exactly.
Give Pikachu some more berries.
Drink up, little one.
Yeah.
Pikachu needs his nom-noms.
But I mean, I hate the VAR. I mean, VAR could have overruled the Guzan red card potentially. Because it seems like the Alajuelense guys overruled the referee and convinced him to change his yellow from a red. I don't know.
Do you think it was that or his AR? Do you think it was the assistant referee in his ear?
It could have been the AR. I thought it was a red card. I mean, it was a dog. So I mean, there were people saying that the ball was so far away that he wouldn't have been able to catch up to the ball. But I feel like we've seen that before and people get sent off. But now, if we lost, I would be trying to split hairs, but I feel like there's probably not enough evidence to have overturned it anyway.
But what's crazy to me is what game was it last year where the keeper came out to midfield and took out
Joe Willis?
Yeah. And that was just a yellow and wasn't considered doxo. And, it's a very similar thing,
Yes, it is.
And VAR is what kept him from getting a red card, I feel like, because they reviewed that several times and ended up landing on a yellow. So to your point, Dan, it very well could have maintained that as just a yellow. I don't know.
Yeah.
But long story short is that was a terrible drop pass by Barco and never should have happened in the first place. I mean, Guzan shouldn't have been put in that position one time, much less multiple times, for him to consistently have to cover ground and come outside the box just to play defender as well as goalkeeper is inexcusable, at that level of competition. So,
yeah, I didn't want to, not to overshadow the game last night talking about that red card, because what sucks is I personally do think it was a red. I was expecting to see red immediately because that's
me too.
Pretty standard. Like the Joe Willis thing is obviously should be the outlier and the exception and not the rule, because it's literally not the rule. Whereas what happened last night, it should have been a red from the beginning, and what made it kind of, I don't know, laughable was the fact that the referee, I don't think he got bullied into it. And I don't think that he was dumb enough to not know which pocket his red card was in, or
I think his AR.
Right. I think that's got to be the one. That's got to be the reason. There had to be an AR chirping in his ear, which is interesting to me because I would assume with it being straight up the gut that it would have been a better angle for him to see than his AR at that point, right? Because he's like looking directly at what's going on.
Yeah, but his vision could have been blocked based on the tackle angle that Guzan took, because the player would have potentially been obstructing his view on whether or not he got ball or player and all that. You know what I mean? Like if you're looking straight down and the defender's blocking your line of sight with Guzan coming out towards him, it could have easily been something where he just didn't have a good visual on it.
No, yeah. And again, like it's a red card to me all day long. But the problem, again, with these referees is that probably should have been, red from his pocket immediately and not waving around a yellow only to put it back in your pocket and take your red out.
So we've talked So we've talked a pretty good bit about midfield. We've talked about defense. We've talked about odds and ends players, but we haven't really talked about the offense last night. What were some of your thoughts on that? We talked about Barco a little bit in passing, but offensively speaking, I know we talked about Lopez a little bit as well, but offensively speaking, I think Barco was really our standout on that side of the ball. He has a free kick that's on frame that the keeper has to stretch out to save. He has another volley that's just inches away from going in that bottom right-hand side of goal. Mm-hmm. He was a workhorse all night, whether it was distributing the ball or taking shots. He has a link-up play with Martinez near the end of the game that ends up Joseph is just barely offsides. That could have been a walk-in goal. He has the PK goal that ends up being the 1-0. Again, I thought Barco, aside from that really, really terrible pass and a couple other just hold-up plays where he held on the ball a little too long, got himself into some trouble in the midfield. Offensively speaking, I felt like Barco had a hell of a game last night.
Yeah, he had a great game. I was so glad to see it. Just in terms of, and I always remember your point, probably like a year or more than that ago, Kevin, is if Barco can really shoulder that leadership burden, like there were moments where he was kind of directing guys and to make sure guys are in position. If he can really shoulder that, I mean, that's just going to increase his value to, 40, 50 million.
He looked a 30 million player last night, Dan.
Every bit of it last night.
I don't
know. That pass alone takes him down to 29, so I'm right.
Yeah. I was really happy with our offense. I thought Brooks Lennon, man, he was fantastic. I am getting a real soft spot for him. Just because I thought it was a no-brainer that he would start because based on the body of work that he put in last year, I mean, he was the one guy who was fighting the whole time he was on the field.
And the way that he just
and then again he
went on a profanity-laced tirade against the referee that you could hear. It was fantastic. Whenever Rios Novo got
kicked in the head.
Kicked in the head last night. And Alexi Lawless called it almost the ultimate sacrifice, which was
Did you tweet that out? Like, I'm glad he's not dead.
Yeah.
That's pretty great. Yeah, I was like, the ultimate sacrifice. Like, what? What a terrible way to phrase that.
I think he went down. I think he went down a path, and then he's like, "Oh, I can't.
I'm committed to this."
No, he didn't pay the ultimate price, is what he said.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't happen.
Like, what?
Soccer. Sorry, Dan.
No, that's fine, man. Well, I mean, to be fair, if my keepers don't literally risk their lives for head injuries, what are they doing on the field? Right.
I like my keepers to be the ones causing head injuries, like Guzan did a couple of years ago.
An interesting point. Angie pointed this out last night, and I couldn't stop focusing on it after Guzan got sent off. Have you guys noticed how much weight he seemingly lost?
No.
Like he looked really thin on camera last night, and maybe it was those 1980s cameras, but. He looked like maybe, I don't know if he's in super good shape, but he just looked a lot thinner. Maybe it's our TV. I don't know. We made a point looking at it. Like it was very strange to see. He looked pretty thin, but maybe that's good for our defense that he's not going to be in there concussing anybody.
Yeah.
I think the new kits have a wider black stripe down the side. So maybe that's what was distorting your vision, Tim, maybe.
But they were in the away kits last night.
No, on the goalkeeper kit.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Brian Daniels says he was gaunt last night. I thought so too. Like he looked very
great. Now we're talking in binary code. Chiefs coach Steve, I gotta look this up. What the hell are you doing, man?
Oh, cool. Yeah. So it's I can't even copy and paste that. So anyway. What do you guys think? Lineup changes we already talked about. Do you guys see Marcelino Moreno, who's coming off of suspension, getting into the squad next week?
I mean, I think in terms, I could see him coming in now. Where he comes in and how we shift the formation around to fill him. I mean, do you see Heineman, put Barco in the middle, put Moreno out on the left? that we have seen and heard from Heinze just in the preseason. But they're always going to, I guess they're going to have a more of a free roaming role anyway. So I would imagine so. I feel like he's going to want to rotate. But the biggest plus that this shows me, especially from last night, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 depth guys. 3 of those started the game. So I feel like our depth is a lot healthier than it has been in the past. So those depth players being Leacher, Mulray, Walks. I'm counting Walks as a depth piece, and then Rios Novo at the end. So we've got some fantastic depth there. But yeah, I think we put Moreno in. Not sure how we do it yet, but what do you think, Kev?
I was distracted by the binary code.
The binary code, yeah. I could see him coming in for, like, if we bring in Dam from Mulroney. It's interesting you say that Walks is a depth piece. Are you thinking that just because of whenever Hernandez gets, or not Hernandez, I guess Alan Franco gets healthy and integrated into the lineup?
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, Walks can play all along the back line, and he can potentially play CDM in a pinch. So, I mean, I thought Walks, I'd be happy to go into MLS season with Walks as a starter right now, based on what I saw in this one game. But I'm assuming Franco is going to be ultimately that starter next to Miles.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But I guess time will tell, right? I mean, it also depends on how much he endears himself to Heinze and what he's wanting to do with that back line. So we'll see. I mean, you would expect with it being a marquee signing like that he would be the starting player back there, but we'll see. So we're right at the hour mark. Let's do some predictions for the season. If you guys have anything that you want to chime in the trap for predictions this season, and then also feel free to play along with us here. I wrote down a couple at the start of the show. I don't remember all of them, but I've got 5 here to start with, and then I'd like to get about 10 put together for the season. So Joseph Martinez goals total predictions.
Am I going first? I'll say 19. If we're just talking regular season in MLS,
regular season goals.
I'd say 19. It's a rebound year for him.
All right, Dan?
So I'm going to go 17.
I'll split the middle and say 18. But I think it's right around that number. Total team points for regular season.
Me again, 69.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
That's what Chiefs coach Steve was doing. He was predicting Joseph Martinez goals. 0-1-1-1-0-0-0-0-1-1. All right, Dan. How many team points this season?
I'm gonna go 65.
I'm gonna go 63. Regular season position at the close of the regular season. What
East?
What rank in the East?
In the East.
Yeah.
First.
All right, I'll go first. I'm gonna say second.
I'm gonna say third. Most assists.
What about Tim? Did Tim answer?
Yeah, he said first.
I said first.
Oh, first in the East. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. What was it? Most assists?
Yeah. Who's gonna get most assists this season?
Moreno.
Dan?
I'm gonna say Barco.
I'm saying Barco as well. So that same point, Barco goals this season.
8.
9.
I'm gonna say
11.
I'm going to say 10. I think this is Barco's year, man. I really do.
Me too, man.
I think he's got to get that 30 million somehow. Total goals conceded in regular season this year.
Oh, what was last year?
No cheating. No cheating.
Oh, okay. What? Cheating by looking into the future?
Yeah. No cheating. No cheating. You can't learn from the past.
How many games do we play in a season? 30...
34, right?
34.
Yeah, 34.
Is that the same for this season?
Let's say 55 goals we give up this year.
Dan?
I'm going to say 37.
Oh, you sneaky. I'm going to say 42. Okay.
I hope you guys are right.
No, I think you're going to be closer to being right, Tim. All right. Anybody else have any suggestions, or do you guys have any more that you want to add to the list here?
Yellow cards. Now that LGP and Franco Escobar have left the team, obviously LGP longer ago, but we need a new yellow card king. Who will get the most yellow cards this season?
Oh, Ibarra.
I know I asked the question, but I'd say Barco.
I'm going to say Sosa. All right. What other ones you got, Tim?
Are we just doing like stat stuff, or are we doing like most improved?
How do you measure that, though?
Yeah, we need to have something
Subjective,
we gotta have no. We need to have a metric. No, Dan, we're not doing most improved. No, this isn't high school soccer. We're not. Everybody doesn't get a trophy.
Second highest scorer on the team.
Oh my god. What about the third most tackles on the team? How about that one?
No, I mean it's
tackles. Come on.
Second most goals, I feel like, is a legitimate prediction because we know, or we would expect Joseph to be scoring the most goals, and he's.
Would you not assume it'd be Barco? Is that not a given that it'd be Barco?
I don't know. That's the question.
Are we all going to say the same? I'm going to say Barco.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
I think everybody would assume that to be the case.
It needs to be Barco.
Yeah, exactly. It should be Barco.
It's gonna be Miles Robinson. No, not after that header last night. That was
I feel like he's had a bunch of opportunities and he hasn't converted, but that's okay. Take some time.
Okay. I've got a good one. Hold on. I'm writing it down. Okay.
What about sixth most assist G?
I hate you so much. All right. Winner in the West.
LAFC.
Let's say Portland. If we're talking about playoffs, or are we talking about highest points?
Playoffs.
You say highest points?
Highest points at the end of regular season. Who wins the West going into playoffs?
LAFC then.
Oh, you're gonna say LAFC, okay.
Yeah.
And Dan, who are you saying?
LAFC.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Galaxy.
The lag?
All right. MLS champ that is not Atlanta United.
Whoa. I think hold on, Kevin. Chief Coach Steve's got a really good one. Number of completed passes leading to a left-footed goal. I think that
I hate you so much. I started writing that shit down. I started writing it down.
But this is what's going to separate us from the other podcasts because we're basically all the same anyway.
All right. MLS champ that is not Atlanta United.
Portland.
Then there isn't one.
Who's it going to be, Dan?
Charizard.
Come on, man.
All right. I'm going to go with Seattle.
I'll say Red Bulls.
Fuck you, Kevin.
I know. Sorry, bud.
At least you didn't feel that.
Why would I say? I want to try to win this thing. I'm not just making shit up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We need one more. One more. U.S. Open Cup winner. That's not Atlanta United.
Columbus Crew. I don't even know. Yeah.
What about in the 15th game of the season? Who's more likely to get to 15 interceptions?
I hate you so much. I hate you so much, man. How many women did Deshaun Watson get massaged by? Like legitimate massages.
Legitimate massages?
No, probably zero.
Zero.
It's probably zero.
The Price is Right.
That dude's a fucking creep. He needs to be in jail. That dude is a big time creep. Needs to be behind bars or not playing football.
Yeah, it is not a good look. Not a good look.
1 or 2, maybe in a character assassination attempt because of what they were saying, but no.
Did you say 1 or 22?
Good God, man! Like
1 or 22?
What the fuck is wrong with that guy?
Oh boy!
Lock his ass up.
All right,
him and Roethlisberger. Put him away.
All right, I guess that's all we got then as far as predictions, since Dan didn't want to play my fun game. Oh, I've got a good one. I got a good one. Number of regular attendance at Atlanta United games this season. Like regular attendance home games.
As an
like
average?
No. Like no social distancing. They're just gonna do like stadium back to normal. Everybody can go and have fun.
What's the game that happens?
No, how many games do you think Atlanta United will have with regular attendance this season?
Oh, gotcha.
We get what, 17 home games, right?
I would say 13 home games.
Okay.
At full attendance.
All right, Dan.
Braves are already open 100%, right?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. They weren't on opening day. I don't know if they are now. Dan, what do you think?
I'm going to go with 10.
I'm going to go with 9. All right, that gives us 10. That gives us 10 questions. I'm putting them in the vault. I won last time, so I gotta maintain my crown. All right. Anything else, boys? It's been fun. I'm glad we had a game to talk about. This was great.
Lineup prediction for Orlando.
Dude, why are we doing that 2 weeks away? Why are we doing that 2 weeks away? We're gonna record before that game, Dan. Why are we doing that?
Oh,
we might have an injury by then. What are you doing?
Who's our first game? Who's our first game against?
What I mean is don't we have the second? When's the second leg of Alajuelense? Is it not next week?
Yeah, it is.
It is next week.
Yeah. So we're going to record next week after that game.
Dates all totally messed up.
Great.
Yeah, we have 2 games next week.
You just get CONCACAF.
Apparently some shit went down in the Philly and Saprissa game at the end that I need to watch, but my headphones will switch over to my phone I don't know if I can broadcast it.
No, I don't think we can.
Oh, that's a shame. Philly lost in those beautiful kits.
Yeah.
They didn't lose.
Did they not?
No, they won 1-0.
Oh, sorry. I thought it. Oh my gosh! I just need to log off. I can't even read numbers.
Yeah, it's the metric system.
Yeah,
we get it. All right. Thank you guys for joining us. However you did, whether it was on the trap on iTunes, whatever podcatcher you use or listen to, however you found us, be sure to like and subscribe, rate, comment, or review to hear it read aloud on the show. You can follow us all on Twitter individually. Tim, where can they find you at? Oh, not on Twitter, but on Instagram they can find you.
Yeah, at Tim Herb.
You can find me at The Architect. That's at @the_ARC. #1 TECT. Dan, what about you?
You can find me at DNJMS. Or if you're really feeling keen, you can find me on the Peloton app at To the Power of Dan.
Gross. Find us collectively at Home Before Dark. That's before spelled B and the number 4. Love the hell out of each and every one of you. Thank you so much for showing up this week, last week, and every week in between. We'll see you next time. As always, be home before dark.
Let's keep on blocking those visas.